I'm Stephanie Rivers, and you are watching the simulcast of my video journal on YouTube and Facebook. So, if you are new to the conversation, I want to welcome you. And if you're one of the regular people who come to the conversation, welcome back. As we are getting settled in, I want to encourage you to like and share this video because I know it's going to be something that you want to share with your friends and family. Today, our conversation is about the Attorney General of the state of Kentucky. His name is Daniel J. Cameron. Now, why are we talking about Daniel J. Cameron? Because Daniel J. Cameron has an identity problem. He has a conflict of interest problem, and he has a time management problem. So we're going to talk about that today. So come on in and settle in. And if you want to chat with me, feel free to do that. I am, this is live, so I will take your questions and comments about this subject. Now, Daniel J. Cameron, the Attorney General of the state of Kentucky, he is in charge of the Breonna Taylor death investigation. And in case you are unfamiliar with it, here's a picture of Breonna Taylor. Just a little background. Breonna Taylor was 26 years old last March, so 4 months ago. She was shot and killed in her apartment by three Louisville Metropolitan Police Department officers who entered her apartment with a no-knock search warrant. And Breonna was not the target of the search warrant, but she's the one who ended up dead on her floor. And the reason that these three police officers who served this no-knock search warrant should be charged, and the reason we're talking about Daniel J. Cameron, the Attorney General's time management problem, that's what we're starting off with, is because here's why they should be charged, these police officers. Because one, they lied to get the no-knock warrant. They lied to get the no-knock warrant from a judge. The judge signed off on the warrant because police officers told her, the judge, that Breonna Taylor had been receiving suspicious packages that they suspected were drugs that were being passed on to the primary target of the no-knock search warrant. That was a lie. And how do we know it's a lie? Because after the fact, the inspector general of the post office that would have been the person to tell police about anybody's suspicious packages told the media that he did not tell anybody at the police department. He did not tell anyone that Breonna was receiving suspicious packages. So they lied. That's the first reason why the Attorney General should have already charged them. The second reason the Attorney General should have already charged these three police officers is because the primary target of the no-knock search warrant was arrested hours earlier before they entered Breonna's apartment. So there was no need for them to go into her apartment. That's the second reason that these three police officers should have already been charged by the Attorney General. The third reason that these three police officers should have been charged in the death of Breonna Taylor using unjustified deadly force is because after she was shot and laying on her floor bleeding to death, they failed to give her medical assistance. They did not offer any medical assistance. They could have saved her life, but they didn't. So there's three reasons why Attorney General Daniel J. Cameron should have already charged these police officers with murder in the death of Breonna Taylor, but he has not. And so the reason I want to show you the photo, what has I showed you Breonna Taylor's photo. Let's go back. This is Breonna Taylor. Okay, so we could stop here and do do an aside, do a tangent analysis. Why is it that police officers sometimes they will allow people to exit their home, and then they just take them into custody without any fight or any shots fired? They watch them drive off, and then they stop them on the side of the road and they arrest them. But other people, they bust in the door, they shoot up the place, they shoot at people, and put everybody's life at stake who probably has nothing to do with why they're there. In this instance, Breonna lived in an apartment complex, and shots were fired all through the apartment, into the neighbor's apartment, into a bedroom where, had her sister been home, her sister might have gotten shot and killed. So why is that happened? So that's an aside. So let's go back to the story. Why is it that Daniel J. Cameron, he's the Attorney General of the state of Kentucky, why is it that he has not had time to do a thorough investigation after 4 months that Breonna has been dead, has been gone? It's because he's had plenty of time to plan a wedding. He proposed to his fiance. He also planned an engagement party and hosted an engagement party, and he posted pictures all over social media. I want to show you the engagement picture. This is the engagement picture of Daniel J. Cameron, and this is his fiance. So they've had plenty of time to host parties and get engaged, but the job that the people of Kentucky elected him to do, they've not had time to. He's not had time to do his job, or at least for some reason he's not taking the time to do his job. Now, after those engagement photos were posted, protesters last weekend went to Daniel J. Cameron's house, and they picketed and posted up on his front lawn and picketed. And guess what Daniel J. Cameron had time to do? He had time to get it was 87 protesters. He had 87 people arrested and charged with everything from misdemeanor trespassing all the way to felony offenses. So he's got time to address protesters, but he doesn't have time to investigate why these three police officers handled the situation how they did, and Breonna, who was not even the target of the warrant, has ended up dead. So no word from Daniel Cameron on how long it's going to take him to do that investigation. Now, I will say that in those 4 months, the mayor of Louisville has fired one of the police officers. So now let's go to the police officers. There's 3 police officers. I think you can see that. 3 police officers. Now, this person right here, that is Brett Hankinson. Brett Hankinson was fired by the Louisville mayor because there were 3 officers. Brett Hankinson was one of them. He stayed outside. So 2 of them burst in Breonna Taylor's door. The third one, Brett Hankinson, he stayed outside. And when he heard the gunshots, he started shooting from his post outside, blindly shooting into somebody's house, not knowing who was being shot, if the right person was being shot, if the wrong person was being shot, if the neighbor was being shot, if the dog was being shot. He just started shooting blindly. So, because he did not follow protocol, he has already been fired. But these other two, that would be Detective Miles Cosgrove, and that would be Sergeant John Mattingly. So I think that's Cosgrove and that's Mattingly. they still are on the payroll of the Louisville Metropolitan Police Department. So the citizens of Louisville, Kentucky are still paying the bill for the people who killed Breonna Taylor. So we want to know why, if I know all of this and I live in Texas and other people are finding out details of the case, why is it that Attorney General Daniel J. Cameron doesn't have the time to investigate and charge these 3 bully, liar, killer cops? Why? So let's go over the warrant, the no-knock warrant. Since this time, no-knock warrants have been deemed unjust in Jefferson County. That's where Louisville, the city of Louisville, is, in Jefferson County, Kentucky. So the city council banned no-knock warrants, and you might want to check in your area, in your city, in your state, because there are a lot of no-knock warrants that are on the books that are being used today. And as I said, what determines why a police officer says, I'm going to wait till they come outside, or I'm going to bust in the door and shoot up the joint and hope that the person that I'm going there to get is in the place? Who makes that determination, and why? So let's go to the third thing. Instead of Attorney General Daniel Cameron putting in the time to bring justice to Breonna and her family, and bringing justice to all citizens, because they want police reform, because we want to redirect our funds so we can start having community policing and just do better by our money and quit funding bully, liar, killer cops. Why is it that Attorney General Cameron doesn't have time to do that? But he's got time to, let's say in the past week, the Attorney General, he stopped a mask mandate. The governor of Kentucky, last name is Brashear. The governor of Kentucky wanted to put into place a mandate that said all citizens have to wear a mask when they go in public spaces, whether it's a restaurant or a store or the grocery store or, wherever you go, the gym, wherever, which he's trying to stop the spread of COVID-19 because we're in the middle of a pandemic. But instead of letting that go forward, Attorney General Cameron, he blocked it. He asked the judge to block it because he said that was infringing upon the rights of the citizens of Kentucky. So he's got time Attorney General Cameron has time to propose to his fiancée, host and plan an engagement party, probably planning a wedding. He's got time to do all these things. He's got time to worry about the governor and his role and how he's trying to slow the spread of COVID-19 throughout his state. But he doesn't. The Attorney General doesn't seem to have time to tell the people of Kentucky, tell the people of the United States, because we're all waiting, tell the protesters, because we're all waiting, why he has not taken time to investigate and come to a conclusion as to how he plans to charge these police officers. He's got a time management problem. And that brings me to the next issue with the Attorney General of the state of Kentucky. He's got a conflict of interest problem. Here's why. Because during his campaign for Attorney General just last year, because he's only been in the job about a year, Attorney General Cameron, he said that he has close relationships with the Kentucky Sheriff's Association. He said he has close associations with the Kentucky Narcotics Association. Now, Kentucky Narcotics Officers Association. Now, these are the same narcotics officers who broke into Breonna Taylor's home and shot and killed her. So, after Attorney General Cameron was elected, in his victory speech, here's what he had. Here's who he thanked. He thanked the Fraternal Order of Police. That's the National Police Union. He thanked Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, because Trump supported him. He thanked Senator Mitch McConnell because McConnell was one of his supporters, but I'll get to them later. Let's go back to the Fraternal Order of Police. You see, whenever you look at any of these questions about the use of deadly force by a police officer, whether there's video or no video, it seems like it's an unjustified use of deadly force in the line of duty, you will have certain people to come out in support of these police officers. And more times than not, it is the police union. It is somebody from their local police union and or the Fraternal Order of Police union. The Fraternal Order of Police is the union that defends the indefensible. They try to justify the unjustifiable when these police officers shoot or they kill people in the line of duty. If you look at Eric Garner in New York, if you look at Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, if you look at Elijah McClain in Colorado, and if you look at Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky, there's always a police union rep who comes out in defense of these bully, liar, killer cops. Now, according to the Marshall Project, I consider them the Marshall Project. You can look it up. They are, in fact, I'm going to type it in here. The Marshall Project, I consider them to be the NPR of the criminal justice system. They compile data and they do research. And one of the things that the Marshall Project talked about recently when I was doing research on police unions is that they say the Fraternal Order of Police is considered to be the white boy frat house for police officers. If you ask Black and brown police officers, they consider the Fraternal Order of Police to do little to support them in their advancement in their careers, but they do a lot to defend white police officers who kill people in the line of duty. So that is what has been said by other police officers about the Fraternal Order of Police. So let's go back. Attorney General Daniel J. Cameron of Kentucky, he thanked the Fraternal Order of Police for helping him to get elected. You see, they have him in their back pocket. They've got the Attorney General of the state of Kentucky is in the back pocket of the Fraternal Order of Police, of the Kentucky Sheriff's Association, and of the Kentucky Narcotics Officers Association. So how can he possibly be impartial, when he's trying to determine whether or not these police officers should be charged in the unjust death of Breonna Taylor? He can't be impartial because they helped elect him. How is he going to go to them and say, I am going to charge these officers? Because that's why he hasn't said that, and he probably doesn't plan to do that because they put him in office. So it's a question of, is he going to do the right thing and charge these officers and have to deal with the backlash from the Fraternal Order of Police and all these other crony police people who he has gotten to help him get elected? Or is he going to continue to do what he's been doing and dodge justice for Breonna Taylor and her family? That's the question. So they've got him in their back pocket, and that is what Daniel J. Cameron is up against. He is trying to stall for time. He's got plenty of time to do everything else, and that is his conflict of interest issue. Is that he has all these police friends, and now he's in a position where he needs to charge them, and they're not being charged, and we need to know why. We, the American people, need to know why. That's why no charges have been filed as of yet, and it's been 4 months. So it was looking like, and they probably thought, Daniel J. Cameron and the police officers who haven't been charged, and the Fraternal Order of Police, and everybody thought they were going to get away with it until the George Floyd video, the George Floyd modern day lynching video. When that surfaced, when that was posted in May, then that made everybody around the country start to revisit and put a spotlight on all these other issues, all these other use of deadly force by police in the line of duty, unjust use of deadly force by police in the line of duty incidents that were happening across the country. And so now everybody, the spotlight is on Louisville, Kentucky and Breonna Taylor. And so now he's got to decide. Attorney General Daniel J. Cameron has got to decide. And let me bring up his picture one more time, because you can go to YouTube and look at all the videos. Just type in his name. And this is him again with his fiance. They just got engaged. They just had an engagement party. They're probably planning a wedding. They're doing all this. He's got time to fight the governor over some masks. He's got time to do all of this. But when it comes down to doing justice by one of his constituents, he ain't got time for that. And we want to know why. We're going to keep the heat on him. And so here's something else that I think is most important, is that I think Daniel J. Cameron is suffering from an identity crisis problem. When I looked at all the videos of his campaign that he posted a year ago, he is the only Black person in all the videos. He is the token Black person in his life, it seems. The only other person of color that I saw on the video, or in the video, it was a 5-minute video. The only person that I saw of color was a Latina woman, and I think she was in there twice. Everybody else is a white person. So you mean to tell me this Black man has no Black friends? He has no other Black attorney friends that can vouch for him, that would have said in the campaign, I worked with him. He didn't have any Black clients who could say, you know what, he's a great attorney and he should be Attorney General. You mean to tell me he didn't invite his family to be a part of his campaign, and or they didn't want to be in the campaign? That's a red flag. That's a problem. Now let's get to his association with Senator Mitch McConnell. Senator Mitch McConnell, who's the senior majority leader, he is the person who, as a matter of fact, Attorney General Daniel J. Cameron, before he was Attorney General, he served as General Counsel for Mitch McConnell for 2 years while he was in D.C. And that's when he was introduced to President Donald Trump. So Mitch McConnell backed Cameron in his campaign. Trump backed Cameron in his campaign. And in fact, President Trump called Attorney General, then he was campaigning for Attorney General. He called him the star of the Republican Party. Now, if these are the people who claim that you're like so great and that you are the star of the Republican Party, that tells me something is wrong with you. Now, if they say you're like a horrible person, then you might be okay. But if they say, oh, he's the best, then I'm going to be side-eyeing you, okay? Especially if you can't get nobody in your family to vouch for you, that's a problem. Now, also, of course, they voted for him. I mean, they campaigned for him on his behalf. And like I said, he was McConnell's legal counsel. McConnell supported his campaign. Donald Trump supported his campaign. And as far as I can tell, Attorney General Daniel J. Cameron is the only black person he's the token black person in his life. I ain't seen no other black people. Okay. So that's a red flag. That's a red flag for me. And I would think if the people of Kentucky had done their homework and they had known what I now have found out, that they might not have voted for him and they wouldn't be in this situation right now. So, in fact, you might ask, well, why do you have a problem with Republicans, or why you have a problem with McConnell or Trump? I would just say a president who is caught on tape, on audio tape, saying he grabs women by the vagina, who is caught on video asking for a quid pro quo from another president of another country in exchange for favors, and then the Republicans, the Senate Majority Leader can't stand up to him and is always defending every move that the president makes, even though blatantly he is a liar and a cheater. I would say that is enough for me, to not trust them. And if they're the type of people who will be willing to say that Daniel Cameron is a good dude, then something is wrong with him. And I wouldn't have voted for him. I don't care what color he is. So at any rate, my last point that I want to share about Daniel J. Cameron, because this is another reason why we need to vet, we need to ask questions, we need to investigate the people who claim they want to represent us, whether you live in Kentucky or you live in California or you live in Montana or you live in Texas, they even if they are just running for the city council or they're running for the school board or they want to be the cleanup crew. I just need to know some stuff about you if you're going to call yourself representing me. And that is when Breonna Taylor was first shot and killed back in March. The district attorney of Jefferson County, where Louisville is, his name is Tom Wise. He recused himself. He removed himself from that position of having to charge or not charge the police officers for some bogus reason, really, because he didn't want to be involved with it. He didn't want to charge them, so he recused himself. So that automatically went to it went to the Attorney General's office for him to either assign somebody a special prosecutor or to do it in his office. So Attorney General Daniel Cameron said, I want to keep it in my office. I don't want to assign a special prosecutor. And here's why I think he wanted to keep it in his office. One is because, well, this is the main thing, because he's taking a chapter out of the Catch and Kill book from the National Enquirer. Now, follow me here. Remember when President Trump was running for office, he was running for president, and it later came out after he was elected that the National Enquirer had known about a couple of stories of the president that had people known about it before the election. They might have changed their vote and not voted for Trump. Remember that? What they did was they would go to the source of the article, of the story. They would pay them $20,000 and say, we're going to pay you for your story, but we're also going to have you sign papers that say that you will not tell any other news source about this because we want the exclusive. And then you would think, if I'm the person, I would think, okay, they want my exclusive. They pay me money, and they paid me money not to tell anyone else. But really, the National Enquirer never was going to publish the information. They would catch it and kill it because they were trying to help Donald Trump win. Why? Because they're friends with Donald Trump. Remember, that's how we ended up finding out about him sleeping with the prostitute and sleeping with, I don't know if it was two prostitutes or whatever. One of them was like one of the Miss America pageant contestants, and the other one was a stone cold prostitute. And he paid them to sleep with them. And they were told that the National Enquirer was going to publish it, and then they got paid some money. And in the end, nothing was ever said until after the election. Remember that? Okay, it turns out it was about 60 stories that the National Enquirer covered up on behalf of Donald Trump. Well, I think Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General of the state of Kentucky, is doing the same thing with this Breonna Taylor case. He wanted to catch and kill the prosecution of these 3 police officers. Because why? Because he has a conflict of interest problem. Because they supported him. The police unions throughout the state of Kentucky supported him in his campaign. They got him elected. How now is he gonna prosecute one of them or 3 of them? He ain't gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. And that's why I think he caught the authority to prosecute, but he's gonna kill the prosecution. He's not gonna do it. So we need to keep the pressure on. We need to let them know they're not going to do this in the dark. They're going to do it by the light of day. They're going to do it in front of the cameras. They're going to do it in front of the protesters. They're going to do it while I go live to tell you to watch Daniel J. Cameron, the Attorney General for the state of Kentucky, because he is the face of hypocrisy. Here's how you're going to contact him and keep in touch with him. I wrote it down for you. On Instagram, you can find him at Daniel J. Cameron. On Twitter, it's at KYOAG, which is Kentucky Office of Attorney General. We're going to keep the pressure on because we demand justice, because we are taxpayers and we are essentially paying these people to bully us and lie on us and kill us, and we're not going to take it anymore. So I've got relatives, I've got friends who live in Louisville and around Kentucky. And so the next no-knock warrant could be at your house. It could be at your family's house. So if you want to make sure that doesn't happen, I suggest that you go to your state and you look up no-knock warrants in your state and see if that is allowed. And if it is, go ahead and get that city council working on getting that abolished before you or someone you know, or you don't even have to know the person. It just should not be happening. People should not be breaking down your door in the middle of the night, a no-knock warrant, and especially if you didn't do anything wrong, you didn't have nothing to do with it. So that's it. Please like and share this video. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook at Stephanie Rivers. You can follow me on Twitter at TCBSteph or on Instagram at TCBSteph. That's it for now. If you have any questions, you can inbox me, and then I will be following up on the progress of Daniel J. Cameron, the Attorney General of Kentucky. So to find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. That's at EUR Web. I'm going to put it in here for you. EURweb.com is where you can read my written version of my journal. And there is where I'm putting in links. I'm linking all the websites and the information that I talked about. I put links in there for you so you can go and find out for yourself. And that's it. I want to thank you for your time. You have a great week, and we'll see you next time for the conversation. It's been